previous video, we saw how to create a calculator app in Python using command line interface. Today, we will see how to build a GUI based calculator app. If you have not watched the previous video, I will add the link to the video in the card above. Let's get started. First, we import the library Tkinter. From Tkinter, import star. Now, let's assign the top level widget which represents the main window of the application. Here, main equal to tk. Let's assign the title which we want to set for the main window of the application. Call it calculator. Now we will add main loop which helps us to run the app continuously. This is similar to while of 1, which is an infinite loop. Let's run this program. You can see the GUI popped up and the title calculator. We will now create a variable called operator and assign it to empty string. This variable is used to perform the operations such as addition, multiplication, etc. Next, we will create variable input value and assign it to string var function. This function is used to hold value for a string variable. Next, we will create display text variable equal to entry of main and choose font to display. Here I am using Arial, font size 20, bold, the text variable that we want to display is nothing but input value, the value which we get from the user. Border 30, width 4, background color, here I am using powder blue. Finally, justify to the right. Next, we will create, let's say, display text.grid of column span equal to 4. Let's see what this means. Initially, let's take an example. This is the calculator app. Suppose we have the main application. Here we can create n number of columns and rows. Now, if we want to combine 4 columns together, from column 0, 1, 2, 3, we use the function column span and specify the number of columns to be merged as one column. That's why I used column span equal to 4 to combine the columns 0 to 3 to be used as 1. Let's run this program. Now we can see the display text box of column span 4. In typical calculator app, row 1 we have buttons, as you could see, 7, 8, 9 and a plus sign. Now let's create the row 1 programmatically. Button for creating number 7, I use a function button and I pass the values as arguments to this function. Text 7. Similarly, let's create the buttons 8, 9, plus so this is at the row 1 and column 0. Similarly, let's create a button for others. Button 8, 9. For addition, I need to change the text to 8, 9 and a plus sign. Here the column is 1, 2 and 3. So in row 1 we have 4 buttons. Let's run this. You could see these buttons now. Now we will create row 2 buttons for 4, 5, 6 and negative sign. In the same way, let's create the other buttons in row 2. Just copy and modify for the other buttons. Let's modify row 2 column 1, row 2, column 2, row 3, row 2 and column 3. Let's run this program. In the row 2 we have these buttons. Similarly, let's create for row 3 1, 2, 3 and star. Copy the same. Star I use button underscore multiplication. Since this is for row 3, I'm changing it to row 3. Values row 3 column 1, row 3 column 2, row 3 column 3, run it. We have done it. Finally, for row 4 we have 0, a clear button, equal to and a slash for division operation. Let's create buttons for row 4. Change the text to 0, C equal to and slash. Change the column number to 4. Row to 4, column 1, row 4, column 2, 4, column 3, now run it. Finally, we have created all the buttons. Now, if we click on these buttons, it does not do anything because these buttons doesn't have any functionalities. Now let's create functions for these buttons. Let's create a function called button click and let's pass an argument number. We know that we have already created an operator and assigned it to empty string. So in order to use that operator inside our function, we add global to the operator. This variable initially had empty string. Now when the user clicks on any number, the number gets appended to the variable called operator. We have input value variable already created. Let's set this inside using the operator variable. This will be passed to the displayed text. Hence, when the user enters, the text is displayed. Now, inside the button, we will give command equal to lambda function and pass in the function that we created just now, the button click, and let's pass the argument 7. This number 7 gets assigned to the number 7 which we already created and passed inside the function button click. So when we click the button, this command is triggered and which calls the button click. Here when we press the number 7, we can see that the number is displayed inside this text box. Similarly, let's create the functionalities for all the buttons. And pass in the different numbers as arguments to this function button click. I have not added any button click function to clear and equal to because we don't want this to be displayed to the user. Let's run this. If I click on any button, you can see the numbers displayed in the text box. So the clear and equal to doesn't have any function right now. Hence nothing happens when we click it. Now let's create functions for clear and equal to buttons separately. For clear, we create button clear function, and inside this function let's declare the operator variable as global in order to access it inside this function. So when we click, we have to clear the user input. So we empty the values inside the operator variable by assigning it to an empty string. And similarly, we want to show that the clear text inside the display box. So we also empty the input value variable. Now let's create a function for equal to called button equal. Similarly, let's assign the operator as global. Create a result variable which will store the result of operations performed. For this, we use an inbuilt function eval in Python and pass the operator as the argument. This eval function evaluates the operator, suppose addition, subtraction, multiplication, and it is stored inside the result. Now we pass the result inside the input value variable so that we can show the result in the display text box and clear the operator variable. So we go to the button where we created and call these functions that we just created. For clear, we pass command equal to button clear, and for button equal, we pass in the function name. Here we don't need to give lambda. Now let's run it. 7 plus 5 equal to 12. You can see the result, and then clear. When we click clear, the number is cleared. 9 minus 3, 6, clear. It's 289 into 2, 23, 2047. Now we have successfully created our calculator app using GUI. Thanks for watching this video. Hope this tutorial was helpful. For more application oriented videos, please comment below, and if you have any doubts, you can also mention it in the comments. Please like, share and subscribe to our channel.